Okay, our objective today is to continue calculating interest earned and account balances. We are also going to talk about compound interest today. So 7.7b is still the same as 7.7, but there's one more formula that we need to discuss. Just a reminder one more time that your entire Chapter 7 test is not next Monday, but the Monday after that. So Monday, March 19th will be your Chapter 7 test. Yes, it's a chapter test. Okay, after that chapter, we are moving to Chapter 8, which is a graphing chapter. Okay, let's start with going over the warm-up. Yes, that's the biggest reason why I like to use them in this class, because of that chapter. Yep. Okay, so let's go through answers first, and then as always, we'll come back to questions. So Amberly, number 1. Good. $41.17. Number 4, Gio. Good job. $38.08. Number 7, Steve. Good job. $19.57. Number 11, Kevin. Good, it did rhyme. $12.79. Number 19A, Ben. $27.72. Is that what you said? Okay, good job. Part B, Josh. Good job. $24.75. Very good. I'm impressed. And then Grace, Part C. Good job. Wow, very good. This must be better than 2 days ago. Camille. Did I skip 7? No, it's up here. Sorry. $19.57. Sometimes I skip things. You okay, Camille? Okay. Okay, Neil. Neil, hand up and ask nicely, okay? Any other questions? Drew and Ray. Any other questions or comments on the warm-up? Neil, did you check 19? Yeah? Okay. Number 4, there you go. You good? Okay. Anyone else? Questions? Wow, that was awesome. So thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs down. That was a hard warm-up.
It was.
Oh, yeah. You're getting better with it, that's why. Okay, very good. Okay, so before we go over homework, what was the simple interest formula that we learned yesterday? And that was only in the last 10 minutes of class. Jordan? Good. Interest equals principal times rate times time. The time has to be in what? Who remembers from yesterday? Grace? Good, years. The rate has to be in what? The rate has to be in what? Mike? Good, decimal. Perfect. Take that percent, move it to a decimal. And what is principal? In your own words, what does the principal mean? Jordan? Yes, the amount that you borrowed or the amount that you deposited, depending on whether it's an investment or if it's a loan. So the amount that you invested or that you borrowed. So we are still going to discuss that today, but we need to talk about how to find account balance and compounded interest. So before we do that, let's go over the homework from yesterday. You had practice 7.7, 1 through 6. I adjusted the directions a little bit and told you just to find the simple interest for each of them, not the account balance. We're going to do that today. So simple interest for number 1, Alexis. Yep, oh, sorry, practice 7.7, we had 1 through 6. Good, $17.50. Number 2, Joseph. Good job. Number 3, Nathan S. Good job. Jackie, number 4. Good. Drew, number 5. Nope. I think that you forgot to convert something is what I'm guessing. David? No? Amberly? Good. And let me just, actually, maybe it was the problem of converting 45 months to years. but Drew, you were pretty close. So let me just read through my work for that one. For 5, you should have done 900 times 0.05 times either 15 over 4 or 3.75. 45 months is 3.75 years. So either way there, that's fine. Okay, and I'll come back to that if you still don't understand what I just said. Number 6, Shane. Seven homework. You were in the packet. Good. Shane, make sure you check your other answers since you weren't there, please. Okay, perfect. So, questions on how to set any of those up. 5 and 6 were probably the harder ones. Good. If you have a question, you can just hold up your fingers with the number. You don't need to talk. Kevin. Not nice. She'll start to feel better by Monday. Okay. Anyone? No. Okay, raise your hand if you got all those right. Wow, very good. Raise your hand if you missed one. Okay, awesome. Excellent job. So if you missed something, give me a head nod. Was it number 5 or 6? Okay. No one needs me to go over how to convert the months to years. Just divide it by 12. You're good? Neil? Okay, I already said that. Let me say it again. Let me say it again. Okay, for number 5, the amount of years is 3.75. If you take 45 months and divide it by 12, it reduces to 15 over 4, which is 3.75. Okay, you want to do it by 12. Anyone else? All right, that was awesome. Good. So you might not have homework today, which is good. Okay, let's go to your notes, page 22, please. So notes, page 22. And I think Monday I'm going to have another challenge type problem for you. I would like to get through this lesson first. I know. We're going to start on 22, though. I know we finished it, but I want to start there. Okay, so 22. Okay, so 22, yes, the title here is simple interest. I just want to do a quick review one more time of the formula. So here was our interest equals PERT. And remember, one more time before we move on, is that just found simple interest. We're going to go one step further today. So go ahead and flip over to page 23. And at the top of page 23, I think the first thing on there is balance. Yeah, the very first thing at the top of page 23 is the word balance. So I think that this is common sense for you, but we still need to make sure we jot something down. The A that I have in parentheses represents balance. That is the balance of an account, okay? It earns simple annual interest, and it is the sum of the principal and the interest. So all we're really doing here is taking the principal amount, and we're adding that to the interest that either you have to pay or that you earned. So really, you could do this with what we did yesterday, but there is a formula to help you find the account balance. And yes, you have to memorize these formulas. Make sure you stay with us, okay? What'd you say, Drew? What do you mean write them down? You just need to know how to use it. No, you don't need, I'm not going to ask you what is this formula. You just need to know how to apply it. I care more about that than you just memorizing things. I want you to know how to use them. Okay, so account balance. Here is the formula. A, which stands for account balance. You could use B if you don't like A. You could use the letter B, but your book uses A to represent account balance. Is equal to the principal, and then in parentheses, 1 plus RT. And then I put the A at the bottom. One more time just to emphasize this, is the balance of the account that earns simple annual interest. So it's still earning simple interest. Ben.
I plus B.
Yes. Good job. And that's what I was just going to ask you guys. Yes. Can anyone else see or understand what Ben just said? Gio? Okay.
Good morning.
That's what Ben just mentioned. He noticed something. What do you mean? I don't know what you're asking me. No. So look, the P's in front, you're really distributing that P. So the formula is really the principal amount, the original amount borrowed or invested, plus PERT, which is your interest formula. This is the simple interest formula. So you're taking the, isn't that exciting? You're taking the interest formula and you're adding that to your original amount. I want you to understand this formula. So if you like the P distributed through, that makes more sense to you. Hold on. You may use it this way, but as Ben said, same thing as yesterday, but we're adding the principal amount to it. Does that make sense? Grace, you were going to say that, right? You had your hand up earlier. Were you going to say that? Any questions? Okay, so let's try some problems. Now, the algebra in some of these problems gets to be a little bit tedious and confusing, so stay with me because there's some solving involved in regards to equations, okay? Neil, you ready? Steve, you okay? Okay, so let's go to the first example. Okay, first example. We have, we deposit $2,000 of a tax refund into an account that earns simple annual interest. After 6 months, the balance of the account is $2,040. Find the annual interest rate. So let's start here. We know the balance is $2,040. So I want you to write down on the left-hand side, just try to write kind of small. We also know the principal is $2,000. That was the amount deposited. What is T in this problem? I want you guys to tell me that. What's T? Peyton? Good. How did you get that? Good job. It's 6 months, so make sure you convert 6 months to years. That's half a year. What's R? What's R, Kevin? Good. Question mark. We need to find R. We don't know. Stay with me because last year they got a little bit confused on this. The first thing that I'd like you to do is write down the formula. Account balance is equal to principal plus 1, or parentheses, 1 plus RT. Now let's fill in what we have. And we are going to do one thing at a time, so please stay with me. The balance is $2,040. The principal is $2,000. And then in parentheses, we have 1 plus rate times time. The rate is 0.05. I mean 0.5. Sorry, I said that wrong. And then T. So based on solving equations, the very first thing that I want you to do is what? Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Kevin. Sorry about that. I'm too worried about explaining this. I forgot. Thank you. We're finding R. Sorry. Okay, so based on solving equations from Chapter 3, what's the next thing, if we had to solve this in Chapter 3, that I always tell you to do first? Abigail. Good. Distribute. So let's distribute. And yes, there are a couple ways to do this, but let's distribute because that's what you're used to doing. After you distribute, we have 2,040 equals 2,000 plus 1,000 R. So now we're solving a two-step equation. What's the next step? Josh. Good job. Subtract 2,000. That's a plus sign from both sides. So we have 40 equals 1,000 R. We're now down to a one-step equation. This is from Chapter 2. Gio? Good. Divide both sides by 1,000. We need to get R by itself. That is what we are finding. So we end up with R is, what is the decimal first? Nathan S? Good, 0.04, and then you can tell us what percent is 0.04. Joseph? Good. So the interest rate is 4%. And yes, I want you to give me the answer as a percent. So that problem's a little bit tricky. You just got to be careful with solving the equation. Make sure you distribute first. Any questions? Jordan, you okay? Yes, definitely. You can use the formula as A equals P plus PRT. Definitely. Yes. Evan. If they ask you to find the account balance, or if they give you the account balance, you have to use this formula. If they ask you to just find simple annual interest, you use interest equals PERT. And we are going to work a lot on that about that on Monday. How do you know when to use what formula? Okay, does that make a little bit of sense? Okay. All right, let's go to letter B. Okay, letter B. So you deposit $600 into an account. It earns simple annual interest. After 18 months, the balance of the account is $648.60. Find the annual interest rate. So I want you guys to tell me, what do we have? What is A? What is P? What is T? And what is R? So let's start with A. What is A, Abigail? Good. $648.60. What is P, or in other words, the principal in this one? Kevin? Good. $600. What is T? I know you guys are going ahead. Alexis, what's T? Good. 1.5 or 3/2. It doesn't matter. And what is R, Gio? Good. Question mark. We need to find R. So what formula are we using? I'll start to ask you guys this now. What formula are we using, Grace? Good. So we're using the account balance formula. You can use either A for account balance or B. Doesn't matter to me. So let's fill in what we have. We have $648.60 equals, the principal is 600, 1 plus, we do not know the rate, but we know the time is 1.5. So make sure I write that in there correctly this time. So we have 600, and then in parentheses, 1 plus 1.5R. If you prefer, like Jordan said, to use the formula A equals P plus PRT, that's fine as well. So let's distribute. After you distribute, what does the right-hand side of the equation look like? Abigail? Good job. 600 plus 900R. If you did not finish solving that, go ahead and do that. And I want someone to tell us what you got for the interest rate as a percent. So if you did not finish solving it, go ahead and do that. Did you subtract 600 on both sides and then divide by 900? Awesome, good job. Good. Good job. Do you know what your mistake was? Okay. All right, Jackie, what did you get for your percent? Good. 5.4% is your account balance, or the rate for the account balance problem. Any questions on that one? Okay, let's do one more together, and then I want to show you one more formula for this lesson. So let's do letter C together, then we're going to go to the next part of this. Okay, so part C I think is easier. They already label everything for us. We just need to find the account balance. So let's set this up. A, which is what we're finding, which is the account balance, is equal to principal in parentheses 1 plus RT. So we need to change R, which is 2.5%, to a decimal, and it's already in years, so I'm just going to put a 2. And I have all those parentheses there just so that I know that 0.025 and the 2 needs to be multiplied together first. That confuses you. You do not need to have that many parentheses. Just make sure you're careful with the order of operations. Okay, what should we do next? Kevin? Careful, careful. Order of operations this time, because we don't have to solve for something inside. Go ahead, Kevin.
0.025.
Good. 0.025 times 2. So do that next, and then add that to 1, and then multiply by 1,000. So I'm going to say that one more time, and I'll have you guys tell me what you got for the answer. Take 2 times 0.025, so multiply that. Order of operations tells you to do what's in grouping symbols first, and then add 1 to that, and then multiply that by 1,000. So when you get an answer, raise your hand. All it is order of operations. Just want to make sure we're okay with that. Ray, what did you get? Raise your hand if you agree with Ray. Who got 1,050? I need to see show of hands if you agree. Okay, awesome. Just about all of you. So 1,050, that is the account balance. Okay, Neil, you need to take 0.025 times 2 first. Okay. Yeah, make sure you convert it to a decimal always. Joseph? That's fine. That's fine. That works every single time on these kind of problems. Anyone else either do it a different way or have a comment, question? Okay, so Neil, you okay? Okay. Let's flip over to page 24 in your notes. I just want to talk for about 10 minutes about compound interest. This is the last formula in this lesson, but there are a total of 3 formulas. Why? Too many formulas?
Yes.
Yeah. Last one, though. So 7b, which is really the same lesson, is to calculate interest earned and account balance. You got to stay with us here. Here. So calculate interest earned and account balances. So let's start with definition here. Compound interest. Little different than simple interest, and of course different than account balance. So basically, in my own words, this is interest that is calculated on the interest and principal. So they're going to tell you you have compound interest. Maybe you earned interest last year on a $1,000 investment you made, and like the last problem, maybe we had $1,050. They are going to calculate your next interest on that amount instead of on the principal. So simple interest formula is always finding the interest based on the principal. Compounded interest is interest that is earned on both the principal and any interest that has been previously earned. So it's on the total amount. This is more normal. This is how they usually calculate interest, is on your principal and interest earned. If you ever take finance classes or do anything with business, these are good formulas to know and to understand because you will see these if you would like to go into some kind of business or if you invest things. Any questions on the definition? Okay. Formula. Compound interest formula. Very, very, very similar to the account balance formula, but I always say the T that was here flew to the top. So the T that was here decided to become an exponent. So it's account balance is equal to, if it's compounded, in parentheses, 1 plus R raised to the T. Why is it raised to the time? It's because it is compound interest. Kevin? No, because you're still finding the account balance. You're finding the account balance, and you're finding it because it's compound. It's a compound interest formula. Sorry, I had to think about that. Jordan? No, you can't do that to this one, Jordan, because order of operations tells us to do what's in parentheses first and then raise it to the exponent. So you can't distribute that without doing the exponent first. Does that make sense? Okay, so on this one, you have to keep it like it is. I'll say that again. because it's 1 plus r raised to the t. Only what is in parentheses is raised to the time. Okay? You use this formula if they say to you the interest is compounded monthly or yearly or weekly. Then you use this. If it says it's regular interest, you use the account balance formula or the simple interest. Okay, I know this is not the most exciting lesson, but you need to make sure you keep those three formulas separate. Shane? The interest rate does not have to keep going up. It could, but it doesn't have to. The biggest difference, Shane, is that on compounded interest, let's say you're 2 years into your investment and your original principal was $1,000. After year 2, you're up to, let's say, $2,000. To calculate your interest for next year, you take $2,000 times the interest earned. So the interest could change, but what's really changing is that principal amount, quote unquote, is changing every year, every month, depending on how often you're compounding it. Does that make sense? Okay. It's confusing. Does that make sense or no? A little bit. After I do an example, I think that might help. Anyone else? Please ask. Any questions or comments, Drew? Yes. But you have time in class. Okay, so let's do an example. And I'd like to start with, I think, letter B. Yes, let's start with letter B. Well, I don't like letter A. It's not a good example to start with. We'll do that eventually. Okay, letter B. Stay with me, please. Okay? You deposit $1,200 into an account. So let's stop there. If you are depositing $1,200 into an account, that's your principal. That's the initial amount. The interest rate is 3.8%. So what is R as a decimal? Drew? Good job. And it says it is compounded annually. There is your hint. If it says it is compounded annually, then you know you have to use the account balance equals P in parentheses 1 plus R raised to the T formula. What is T in this problem? Mike? Good, 5. What do we have to find in this problem? What are we looking for? Kevin? A. We're looking for the account balance. So we have account balance is equal to principal in parentheses 1 plus R, which is 0.038, raised to the T, which is 5. We are going to do one thing at a time. So let me pause there for a minute. Does anyone have questions on how we plug that in? Gio? Do not give us the answer. Go ahead. Okay, but that's, first of all, you didn't do that right. You need to add the 1 and this first. But the way they gave it to you, Gio, it's probably in scientific notation, which I know isn't correct, but the reason you have a negative exponent, they probably gave that to you in scientific notation form because there's a lot of zeros. Okay? Okay, but next step is order of operations tells us do what's inside parentheses first. That's our grouping symbols. And then we need to raise it to the power of 5. So after you have this in parentheses, 1 plus 0.038 is 1.038. I need you to type in your calculator 1.038, put a caret, and then 5 to raise to the 5th power. So what is that? Neil, what is that? Okay, so I'm going to stop with the 99. Put that in parentheses, or leave it on your calculator. 1.20499. And that is still going to be our account balance. So after you added the 1 plus the rate, you then raise it to the 5th power. Now what? Joseph, now what? Good. Now we're just going to multiply. So what is the account balance on this compounded interest formula? Camille? Well, it's money, so round it to the nearest cent. Round to the nearest cent. Good job, thank you. No, I'm gonna leave it like that. If you want to round up to 1,446, that's fine. I'm gonna keep it like that, but it doesn't matter. I would not mark it wrong if you were that close. And again, I'll make sure I'm specific on your Chapter 7 test as to what to round to. Mike Banco, we're not done yet. Questions on that problem? Okay, let's go to letter C. I want to do one more with you and then have you try one on your own. So let's go to letter C. Okay, letter C on page 25. So for an account that earns, it says ears, but it should say earns. Apparently I couldn't spell 2 summers ago and I made this note packet. Earns interest compounded annually. Find the balance of the account. Round your answer to the nearest cent. So basically they give us everything. They tell us P is 900, R is 5%, T is 3 years. So we have account balance. We know it's compounded annually equals principal, in parentheses, 1 plus R raised to the T. If it's compounded, the T is floating up there. It's an exponent. Okay, so let's plug in what we know. We need to find the balance. We know the principal is 900. We know the rate is 5%, which is 0.05. Remember, T is always in years, but they give it to us in years this time. Okay, now what do we do? Now we just have order of operations. Abigail. Good job. So we have 1.05 because as Abigail said, we need to add 1 plus 0.05. Okay, I want you to take 1.05, use the caret on your calculator, raise it to the 3rd power. What is that decimal? Abigail? 1.157625. Good job. Just making sure. And then the 900 stays in front. Our last step is to multiply 900 times the decimal that Abigail just gave us. So what is the balance, Ben? 1041. Good job. 0.86. Good job. $1,041.86. Gio. Did you forget to add one? Okay. Gotcha. So you were thinking of the account balance formula, and that's why Monday we're still going to do more practice with this. Anyone else? Kevin? You okay? Okay, your decimal should be 0.05, not 0.5. Okay, try it again. You typed something into your calculator wrong. Anyone else get a different answer, Ray? So 1.57? Okay, but it's 1.1. That's probably why you're off. It should be 1.1576. That's fine. But I would keep at least 3 decimal points or 4. I always keep it in my calculator and then just hit times 900. That way it's as exact as it can be. Okay, so that's a good strategy to try. Abigail? Yes, yes, yes. It's much easier. I need to show you the steps so I know everyone's following, but yes, I do these in my calculator. However, you need to show me at least the first step on homework or a test so that I know that you're converting everything correctly and I can at least give you partial credit on an assessment. Okay? Anyone else have questions or comments? Good. Glad to hear that. Okay, I need you to try letter D, and then we're going to move on to homework. So try letter D on your own. Kevin, did you get letter C? I know. Hey, Neil, let's try not to yell out, okay? So just letter D, and then once we go over it, we're going to move on to homework. This isn't that bad once you know when to use what formula. It's just confusing to teach for you guys because everything's just so different. Yeah, that's not right. Okay, let me see. Let me see what your thing. It should be 0.082. That's why. Good job. Josh, that's right. Good job, Gio. Sorry, Ray. We're in India. Very good. How did you get one of those? Did you just have one of those pencils?
Yeah.
Oh. Yes, good job. Okay, so what did we get? Nathan S., what did you get? You're off a little. You're off a little. You said, wait, did you do letter E? That's the answer for E. Okay, if you did letter E, $8,495.70. So Nathan S., you're good. But letter D, Peyton? Good job. So there's the balance for letter D. And Nathan S., don't worry about it. You got E, so you're fine. Does anyone need me to go over any part of that? Mike, are you okay? Positive? Okay. We're good? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs down on this entire lesson, 77A and 77B, because this is pretty much the end of the chapter. Okay, thank you. I need you to open up your homework packet to 7-7, which, yes, I know you had part of it last night. So, what'd you say, Mike? Well, it's because I didn't teach you all of it. That's why. Yeah, it was. Okay, so I want you to finish all of it. But now I need to explain 1 through 6 to you. So on 1 through 6, you need to go back to them because you need to find the account balance. So start with number 1. You already found the simple annual interest, but now you need to use the account balance formula and find the account balance. It is not compounded interest. So you have 3 formulas that you could be using. Let me write them up here real quick. We have interest equals PERT. We have the account balance formula. And then the last one is you have the compounded interest formula. So you have 3 formulas you could use. Only use the compound interest formula if it says in the problem it is compounded. Gio. You can, yes. However you want to find the account balance, go for it. But you need for 1 through 6 to find the account balance. Okay? Gio, or sorry, not Gio, Drew. I'll say that one more time, listen. You need for... Yeah, Gio was asking if he could add the principal to the simple interest. That's fine. And then everything else, please make sure that T is in years. Should always be in years. I think that's pretty much the only thing. And be careful when you're solving the equations because some of it gets a little bit tedious with the algebra involved. Okay, if you need loose leaf, it's in the back. We have about 5 minutes to get started. Okay. Monday, we're going to do more practice with this, and then Thursday and Friday will be review games. Review days, I should say. One of them will be a fun day.